Welcome to the podcast, Jocelyn. I'm really excited about this conversation because we've been chatting, so welcome.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's just been so much joy and delight just connecting with you and just chatting with you. So let's really have even more fun in this podcast show.
Well, we're talking about mindset, and I was like, okay, pause. We need to start recording. And I know that mindset, and that's why this podcast is all about self-love and mindset, is because it plays such a big role. But I want to know how it's evolved in your life and business.
Right. I love this question. So I've always thought of as someone who's very positive, someone who always see the best in others. And I do, and I have that natural superpower to see greatness in people. But at the same time, I found through my own self-awareness and deep inner work that I had compartmentalized some parts of me that I actually don't love as much as I should. And that was actually tracking back to certain parts and certain journey of my life that things were set into my space, my aura. And I took that upon me as a blueprint of my life. And as a result of that, I let it flow my life for decades and realized that it didn't serve me. It was painful. It was frustrating. I was stuck. I didn't know that there's even available resources to reach out to. It was always that distant, that resources was out there. I'm in here. And I felt trapped. But equally, I felt that I needed to do something about it because I only have one life. It's not a dress rehearsal. I need to make the most out of it. And so I gradually then asked myself, I need to shift the way I do things, reading books, going into cassette tapes. This like ages ago where you still listen to this, ages ago where you still like podcast is so new. And I started to get out of the group of people that I used to hang out with. That was key because we are the sub average of the 5 people that we spend time with. And I realized that when I count on my hand and I realized that their mindset, if I average that, wasn't going to take me forward, I needed to do something about it. And it was scary. It wasn't easy. So then it was the community, it was the resources, it was going out to get myself into retreats and events that other people in my space doesn't do. And I had to be bold and brave to like, just do it. And when I started doing that, I realized that there's so much more in other aspects of life that I have not tapped into and that I needed to do that. And that is how the shift, the transformation came in. There wasn't a magic pill that I took at that point in time. It took an incremental small changes to shift the mindset. And when that happened, things started to really shift in my life as well. So yes, mindset is a big thing, and mindset is an ongoing aspect of growth. And we needed to really be aware of that because there's new levels and new depths that we can unlock. And when we unlock those things, we've got so much potential within us that is available to us already. It's just that our eyes, our ears, our senses hasn't been activated. And once we start to activate all those aspects of our lives, we then attract whole another level of opportunities, possibilities, coincidences, synchronicities that is right in front of us. And so my encouragement to our listeners is that be very open, and sometimes certain ideas we don't warm up too easily, but don't push them away. Be ever ready to allow that to just sort of percolate, let it just grow and just sort of welcome and be curious around it. I find that curiosity is so important for a success mindset, that you stay curious. You just want to like explore that even more. And when you do that, my friend, the world is your oyster. The world is your oyster. So I hope that encourage everyone around mindset. And that's how I shifted. And I can go into a few more stories down the conversation, but that is just the overarching journey of what had happened.
Ooh, there's so much there. The be brave, taking brave actions, getting outside your comfort zone, leaning in. I'm like, oh, yes, my heart is so happy and open to this conversation. And I want to know because we're all in business. So this podcast, this show is we're mostly women entrepreneurs in some sort of a coaching, healing, wellness space. And I see that as we're opening up, as we're hitting limiting beliefs, there's a few core ones that show up, whether it's charging for our services, not enough, or like you said, getting out of that comfort zone and going to events. So, how did you move through some of that?
Well, the not enough was one of the areas that I had to work a lot because I always felt that there is this perfectionism out there. And then I start to ask myself, what is that definition of someone's perfectionism and what's mine? Everyone's coming from different perspective, different background, different culture, different upbringing, different level of understanding of things and exposure on politics, on hobbies, on music, on art. So I decided that, look, enough is enough for me. And as long as I produce high quality, in my view, I did everything within my power to bring the enoughness. It is enough. And trust that the universe is going to guide me and the universe is partnering with me. My fear around going out to networking event, I used to be someone who's shy, who is an introvert. And for me, it's still the same. It's just that I am actively working on it to help myself stay visible, be active around going out, making sure that I take steps that are uncomfortable, but it is moving the target for my business. So it is very mindful around that because when I am in comfort zone, I am either diminishing or expanding, right? And usually when you're so comfortable, you're actually diminishing because you're not growing. So that's the other fear that I learned to really overcome and be masterful of it. The next one is around fear of missing out. That was huge for me. I always felt that I will miss out on something if I am not taking opportunity about it or I am not studying more about it. But there's sometimes just noise. And so I needed to learn to discern powerfully why I feel that way. Number one is actually to know that that was the fear of missing out. And then the second thing is I needed to ensure that, is that the right thing for me? Because there is a ton of invitations that we get from everywhere, every single day. But which one is the right one in line with my business strategy, in line with my design of where I want my lifestyle to be, how I want to use my time, how I want to use my resources, how I want to serve my clients? Is that going to get them the best results? And so assessing that based on those metrics really helped me to overcome the fear of missing out. And there's a number of others that, I could share, but those are the three that I know that it's constant that I needed to be aware of it. And there are always that talk in my head that we have like 60 to 80,000 thoughts that will talk to us, but to discern, all right, our higher consciousness, what is the higher self talking us, guiding us, showing us, leading us? And it usually feels so good when it is fully aligned because our toes will get excited, our fingers will get excited, our body will actually be lighter, we'll feel freer, we'll really carry less load. You find that your shoulder is not weighing you down. So those are signs that our body is really, really communicating that truth to us. And so that's how I also detect and learn to connect with my full body. Hell yes, when I operate.
Yeah, it's oh man, I love, and that's one of the things. Like I'm like, you are like, yes, 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 yes. That full body, yes, it truly does happen when you allow it to happen. And yes, these things get scary, but stepping outside the comfort zone and stepping outside and shutting down that inner voice, like I forget, me and my therapist call it like the crazy man on the corner talking about a spaghetti monster that's trying to kill me. And it's like, no, you're not real. Let's walk on by.
Exactly. And I think it's to recognize that that is real and how we can manage that voice when it's coming into our space, because they come in different forms and shape, and they don't always come in one aspect. And so for me, I always become more and more aware of that consciousness of, all right, I needed to know how it looks like now in this season and how to actually refocus, right? All right, what can I do when things are not getting in my way? And what is it that I can change? What is in my power to change? And what is not within my power to change? And more often than not, we realize that what we can change is already more than enough. And so taking that power back, and it's discerning, and come back to a lot of discernment and to allow yourself to do that, because sometimes we need the permission from someone else or external validation. And my friends listening to this, we want to give you the full permission that you can do that for yourself. We want to give you that you are validating who you are, recognizing who you are, and you are enough. And when you play that in your thoughts and let that sound get stronger, louder every single morning, every single day, when you pick up your kids, when you go for a walk, when you go to the gym, when you're dealing with a difficult conversation with a supplier, when you are talking to someone that you know that something is not right there, you can discern and apply this. It will make everything in life flow even more better for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And as you're saying that, I'm feeling like more and more like, okay, looking at it from my entrepreneur, put my entrepreneur hat on for a minute instead of my podcast host. I feel those coming up the most when it comes to marketing myself, making the offer like, hey, I have something to offer. I feel all of that resistance coming up. And I, as soon as you said that, I'm like, okay, I see it happening there. That's probably the biggest one that I see coming up as an entrepreneur. And I know I'm not alone.
I mean, a lot of times we feel that we are alone, but we are human beings, and we go through things in different seasons, different stage of life, different levels of our business, and different business cycle as well. And so a lot of times when we listen to podcasts or any social materials or reading a caption on social media posts, they resonate to us. Sometimes it's just one sentence, sometimes it's just a phrase, sometimes it's a quote, sometimes it's a paragraph, sometimes it's a full story, but they all speaks to us and they meet us where we need it to be so that we can move forward, even if it's 1% forward. And I used to always tell my teams that report to me when I was in corporate, and I was in corporate for 20 years. And so I always tell my team every single Monday morning, as long as today you're focusing on moving 1% forward into what you do, sharpen that 1%. By the end of Friday, when we come back for a wrap up for the week, you are 5% stronger, better. Can you imagine? It's only 1%. Is that something that you can commit to? 1% of growth every single day. And it's bite size. So if you think about 1%, more often than not, a lot of people can do even more in leaps and bounds. And if, you feel that you are stuck, you are trapped, or you are in a space that is really difficult to move, try to inch out just 1% and shift that focus 1%, even 1 degree. Even if you choose to move 1 degree, there is that subtle tweak and shift that can really, really transform things from a whole nother perspective.
Oh, yeah. And for me, like, because I'm somebody who doesn't enjoy social media. So when you're saying those, I'm like, oh, it's that one podcast. It's that one little like mic drop moment on podcast. And I know I was listening to one of yours recently, and it was about the sales and like making sales and showing up consistently. And I'm like, you said something about the consistency, and I'm like, there it is. That was it. It was the consistency. And then I related it to, oh, it's a fear. And I had to drop that because my 1% for the day that I listened to your show was that moment?
I'm glad that that is serving you. And that consistency part was really interesting. So back in 2007, 2008, when we went through the GFC, I was taking over a huge senior financial planning role at the time. And you can imagine nobody wants to walk into a bank because they're fearing that things would really impact on their cash account. And so there's a lot of work around coaching the client, not just the financial coaching part, but it's actually life coaching. When I realized how much life coaching I did for all the clients that come and see me every single week, and I would probably see between 20 to 25, between phone conversations to in-person sit down. And I noticed that a lot of them not only come with the financial aspect that they needed, guidance and direction, and a lot of just how to tweak things around from a financial position perspective, but it was the life coaching that I guided them, because they would go through different difficult conversation with someone, and they'll bring that up through the conversation, and will guide them and say, have you thought about so and so, how to maybe think this way, or have you thought about this tool or this strategy that I learned or I read or I discovered somewhere that I just wanted to share that with you. And from there, that was the birth of life coaching. So it was really interesting. But also from there, I realized that because I was doing that consistently, that those clients came back to me, because I was also helping them through life events. It wasn't just the financial planning aspect, because I find that if you help someone who is in need right there and there, you got tools in your tool bags, why wouldn't you share that? That is so important. So that was key. And then the next thing was the key to just showing up as a salesperson, because it was easy to just hide, because it was hard, it was difficult. The news was not nice on the media, and it was just like a very challenging situation. But I kept myself really motivated by telling myself, if only I just stay there and be consistent. I show up, I do the basic 5 things that I needed to do every single day, and being faithful to that, I continuously exceeded my sales targets and expectation consistently. It was just magic. It just came in, and you don't have to force it. It just flow. It is just like a drop. It's like the drop. The best way to describe that was, have you ever noticed how a spider dropped into their web? It's just like subtle, still silky. It was not forced. It was that kind of drop, that kind of energy, that kind of flow. And so I always felt that when I go back to that consistency part, it was just that being faithful in the small things. What can you do today? It could be 3 things, it could be 5 things that could move the needle in your business, and that's enough. And it could take you 45 minutes, it could take you an hour. And so sometimes I feel overwhelmed, and I think, oh, this is going to take me this unknown amount of time. But if you actually break it down, it's actually like 1 hour. I could do those 5 activities, and they are money-making activities. So I always bring myself back to that. Consistency is key to any level of success. And back to basics, really. If you're back to basics, sometimes we can complicate things a lot more, and our brain can offer all sorts of ideas to really add more complexity. And you're like, hang on, I was really successful when I didn't do those 7 steps. When I did that 3 steps, it was far more successful. It was easier, it was lighter, it was more enjoyable, it was more joyful. Why wouldn't I do just 3 steps instead of 7 steps that is just causing more drama?
Ooh, what a good point. Because I think I know for myself that becomes so easy. It's like, oh, well, this is easy. It's working. I'm a little scared because now it's working. So I better do more, because what if it stops working? And then it's no longer fun or working.
I can resonate with that. It's always our brain tricking us, right? Our brain always go, oh, so-and-so is doing 11 steps. Did you know that 11 steps probably can get you 7 figures? No, actually, it's less is more. I know that those 3 words, less is more, it's almost like, meh, are you serious? But it's truly less is more. It's not more is more. It's less is more. And so keep things as simple. Always couple things that I do every single month is I declutter. Anything that's taking up space, I create even more white space for the next month. I also declutter a lot of like my emails, things that you don't read anymore. Seriously, I'm not going to go back to like last month's email to read them. So if I don't file them and I know that they're not important, I delete them. I unsubscribe them. Because throughout the whole month, you get invitations to join summits, to be part of a friend's event, or to support a colleague in different space. And so you can accumulate a lot of emails that may not necessarily help us. And so it can take up a lot of space in our inbox. So I delete them, I unsubscribe them. And also, sometimes I do a lot of cleanup on social media. I follow people who are going to expand my thinking style. That's one thing that everyone I want to come across, they are expanding me. They're keeping me to a whole nother level of new thinking. They're sharing things that are actually going to expand my perspective that is simplified as well. So I do a lot of decluttering. And cluttering, like cleaning out the pantry, cleaning out the refrigerator, cleaning out any aspects of our wardrobe that sometimes we keep items that are a little bit too old and it's time to let them go and drop them to maybe a charity bin if you never wore them like 12 months or so. I do that as well. If I buy items and sometimes I might wear them once and they're like, oh, don't quite suit what I was anticipating when I bought them. I'll just let them go and have someone else have it because it's better in someone else's closet where they enjoy, they love it, they embrace it. So yeah, those things. I think decluttering is key to success as well in business and life.
Oh, I'm like, that's like the key to everything we've been talking about, decluttering our thoughts, decluttering our space, decluttering so that we can show up. I'm like, yes, 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 and more yes. And I want to go back because we were talking about consistency, and the consistency and the decluttering, I think, go hand in hand, because sometimes we have a to-do list that we have created for ourselves. Like you said, the 3 steps is great. We've created a 7-step system. And I know this is something like you work with and you help people declutter to make it more streamlined so that we can achieve that next level. So what does that look like when it comes to our business and our crazy to-do lists that aren't really getting us to where we need to go?
Here's what I want to invite our listeners to do. Brainstorm everything. Don't hold back. Just brainstorm everything that you're doing. And then the next couple of hours, look back from fresh perspective, fresh eyes. Are those things helping you move the target of your business? If not, dial it back. Maybe choose and dial it back to 5 key things that really does add value. And when you can brainstorm and then dial it back to 5 key things that really move the target, it gives us a perspective that the rest is just ideas and noise. Maybe sometimes you can park it away, maybe not. But when you can dial it back to just 5 key things that really does add value to your business, focus on them, go deep. Because we have a tendency to just be on the surface. But if we go deep and we become mastery of it, it makes such a big difference, because mastery is something that becomes natural. And when you do that as well, bear in mind that whatever you do is in line with your own superpowers. Everyone has got their own sets of superpowers. Really get to know what is your own superpower. Jen has got her superpowers that's different to mine. And so when you know that that is yours, nobody can take that away from you. And then you apply that 5 key areas that really gets the business going. So, and stay consistent with it. Just do it as a way of life. And you will see results. You will see transformational results when you do that. Then once you do that, it becomes a way of life. So the other thing is really important for me that I do constantly is to really connect with people whose mindset are always expanding. And that when you have people who are consistent and they're consistently showing up for their business, they're consistently showing up to serve others. You know what they say, they do, and you feel their energy. and you notice that in what they actually produce, that there is something that is different, it's actually consistency. Nothing more than consistency, because if you want a formula of success, consistency has to be in it because it deepens the trust level. And when you do that, you know that, hey, there is more that you can pull out, dig deeper, and go stronger. And so that would be what I want to offer our listeners to do. Brainstorm and then dial back to 5 things that you can actually do and focus on.
Oh, and I love that. And I know that's one of the things that you not only talk about on your podcast, which I think our listeners need to know more about, but I know that that's something you do within your one-on-one coaching and your programs.
Yes. So I'm the kind of coach that I like to help people stay really clear. And I know that because I found that I had worked with so many different leaders and different coaches, and they pour more things in because they think that they give you more templates, they give you more 30 more pages, and they offer you more downloads. It's going to help you. It's actually causing more confusion. You go like, okay, today, do I go through the PDF? Do I listen to your podcast? What do you want me to do? And so in our coaching session, I always go, what is it that you can take away? If one thing, because it's easier to do one thing that you feel enjoyable and lighter and easier to move forward than to have 12 things on your list and you will stay stagnant because you're overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, you actually don't do anything. You go to inaction mode. And you're like sitting there with that 12 items and nothing is moving. Your head is spinning and you're like, oh my God, what is going on? And you can sit in that space for days. But where I see all my coaching clients do is like, I'm going like 3 things between now and the next coaching call. What can you do? 3 things only. It could take you an hour. It's not doing more. Like, I don't give you more medals when you actually do more. I actually give you medal when you actually see and experience things in a way that you have never experienced. That is growth, because you can experience things and hold you back, or you can experience things and go, oh my God, that's an aha moment. That's a light bulb. Why didn't I think about that? That is more powerful. And so my coaching style is very much helping you uncover what is already within you that is easy, that's already within your natural flow. And sometimes we just need someone who can see and activate that potential within us. And that's why I talk a lot about activating a lot of potential, because we all have a lot of potential, but sometimes they are dormant. They are not there because nobody gave us the opportunity to really test and experience that and experiment that. And so that's what I want to do. All my coaching calls that my clients will go, yep, got that. And I always get this compliment that they go, you helped me cut through the noise. There was so much noise. You helped me cut through the noise. And that was most helpful. And that's my magic power. Like I go, why do you need to go through 12 steps when it's only 3 steps or less that gets you the results? Like I have that magic power to see that. And one of my manager that I work with for many years, he's like, my superpower is to make things so simple, because I used to run national projects and we would have thousands of people that need to, provide us feedback, fill in the survey form. We'll roll that out across different states in the country. And that's a lot of work. And what we used to do is like, how can we keep it so simple that it's like a no-brainer? And people want to do it and people get results from it. And it's like our thoughts create our results, because our thoughts create our feelings. And then from that feeling, we take action. And so I'm like, why don't we simplify it? I'm like, it's not that complicated. But yes, that was a huge compliment for me, that a lot of people find that working with me simplify things and help them feel so much better. It's like when they leave the coaching call, they're like, oh, I'm so glad I spoke to you.
And that's exactly what I said about your podcast too, the Magnetic Network Accelerator, which we will definitely be putting in the show notes, is that when I walked away from listening, I was like, that light bulb moment came off and I was like, that's it. And it like put my whole body at ease from that like one moment and that one piece. And it wasn't even a one-on-one conversation. So that truly is one of your superpowers. And I'm so excited that you have chosen a legacy platform. Podcasting is my love because it's a long-term legacy. And I love that you're sharing with people in that manner, not only just coaching, but you're giving and you're serving in this beautiful way. And I'm so excited we connected.
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that compliment because it means so much to me that someone is taking away, listening to that, and feeling better. Because the goal is if I can help more people feel better, that is already a huge win. And there's a lot of people out there who needs to feel just a tad lighter. Their shoulder doesn't need to be frozen because there's so much things weighing them down. Their stomach doesn't being knotted because it's just so hard. Or they're just walking feeling that the whole world is doomed because it is a lot of things on their space. But I just want them to walk away and feel like, that was so good and lighter, however it may be for you, whatever words or sentence or paragraph or a point that I mentioned, that you walk away feeling like, yep, got that. It gets to be easy. It gets to flow. It gets to really, really be fun. And life is fun because you really have one life to live and it's not a dress rehearsal. Just make the most out of every moment you have.
Oh, I'm like, now you're speaking my love language. If it's not fun, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly.
So for those people out there that you mentioned, like finding that person, finding that tribe, finding that community to like surround yourself with. And for me, like I had to find a coach because I didn't have that direct person. I found somebody that I could have as a mentor. I know that's something that you offer. So where can we find out more? Like what are all the cool ways that we can connect with you and like get into your space so we can raise our vibration and have all the fun too?
So come and have fun with me. Number one, you can actually book a 45 minutes clarity call with me. We'll have a chat. We'll talk about what options you can explore. And at the end of the conversation, what options there is for you as well to explore. Because I think it's so important. All of us needs a coach. And to find the right coach is important for you and I as well. I don't coach you to coach with me. I coach you to make the right decision for yourself. And that's key because ultimately you will know yourself best. And so I want to empower you with that decision-making skill that you know how to make the best decision for yourself. Number two is there is a number of resources that you can actually tap into on my website. So go into the resource section and just explore, download anything that you want to take advantage of on my free resource website. Watch them. There's also a free masterclass called How to Be a Magnetic Networker. And in that short masterclass, I teach you how to apply those principles so that the next opportunity you step into an in-person or an online networking event, you apply and you see the magic. Because I want you to experience amazing experiences. So that's another avenue. The other option you can explore that, Jennifer, you mentioned several times, is my podcast. So you can come to my podcast. It's called Magnetic Networking Accelerator. And you can listen to episodes that I produce. And so I hope that becomes nuggets of wisdom for you. When you come to my website, there is also areas that you can read different things. And so I have been on several podcasts and under featured in, you can go into all the podcast guesting opportunity that I was privileged to be part of and listen to other interviews that I have been interviewed as well. So you can explore that as well. There's lots of them. And I enjoy podcasting like Jennifer because it's a great asset. It's an avenue that people can take away. You can go and have a travel and you can listen on a podcast. You can apply your makeup and listen to a podcast. You can go for a run and you can listen to a podcast. You can cook and you can listen to a podcast. You can do cleaning at home and you can listen to a podcast. And you can start and stop whenever you want. And it's just such a great avenue for people to tap into encouragement, empowerment, and support. And that is available for you. It is at no additional cost. So I love this resource because it's so powerful. And I hope that you explore that and you continue to tap into resources that can really lift your spirit up and help you shine even more. Be there to shine because we all need everyone to shine. It's like stars in the night sky. Everyone is allowed to shine. And so shine as bright as possible and just enjoy life.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I love that. Just shine as bright and love life. So I have to ask, because this is a question that I had asked to me, I don't know, a while back. If you just mentioned you've been featured on a lot of podcasts, is there one question out there that you wish that a host had asked you?
Well, I had a good thought about this question a few days because I thought, what would be a question that someone has never asked me? I think I would love someone to ask me about why money is such an issue in this world. And I come from a banking and finance background. I grew up in an entrepreneurial background. Money is just something that is there. So I didn't never really think too much about it. But I know that the world and everyone else is either working for money, they have a bad relationship with money, or something is about money that causes a pain point in their life. But I want to mention that money is just energy and it's important to start developing healthy relationship with money. If you may or may not know that you've got limiting beliefs around money, to ensure that you work through them, ask for help, seek guidance, really shift your mindset around money because the more we all have wealth, the more the economy can work and operate in a way that never before. And so money in the hands of the right people are very, very good. And so I want to really elevate that more female entrepreneurs develop a relationship with money that is really healthy. I come from financial planning background, so you can imagine all my life I play with money, invest with money. I used to count thousands every single day because I did a stint in the retail banking side. So people would drop 500,000 in cash. This was like 20 plus years ago. And I would just play with money, like literally count money like crazy. And then, of course, I progressed to wealth management and started investing in millions and millions of dollars. And every week in sales, in business, we talk about money. But the more important part is what is your individual relationship with money and how you care about how you manage your finances because you can be equipped to do that. It's a skill and it's a way that should be easy for everyone. So don't put money off just because someone said you're not good with maths. It could be someone. I had a client that said, you know what, my teacher told me I'm not good in maths, so I don't want to think about money because money is numbers. But I want you to be interested around it because it is a good thing. So even if that shift is happening, money is good. Money in the right hands of good people is actually very good. And so let's really adopt that mindset. And if today is an introduction to money belief system, let it be today your defining moment that you're going to really adopt this healthy, powerful money belief system in your life.
Oh, yes. I think that that's something that definitely needs to change. And I came from finance, also not in the same wealth management. I was in the accounting department, but the money thing was always, it's always looked at so weird. And I'm like, but money is, like you said, is energy. And what you use it for can really make a huge impact in the world.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let that really sit in your spirit. And sometimes you just need quiet moments that you could be in the shower, you could go for a swim, you could be in nature, go for a walk, you could be somewhere where you're not distracted and go deep in yourself and ask yourself, what is that relationship of yours with money? Because we all transact every single day, like it or not. We buy coffee, we pay for meals, we pay for bills, we pay for different things. And so how can we deal with it in a way that is good? Don't wait till the end of life to go, oh, I wish I have done that, because it might be too late. and you miss the opportunity that's already before you. So think about it and let this be an opportunity for you to introduce yourself to a good money relationship between you and money.
Oh, yeah. I want a good relationship with money. Yep. Let's do it. We're focusing on it. So if someone were to walk away with that one thing that they took for this minute, maybe an hour or a lifetime, what would you want that one thing from this interview that they would carry with them?
The power of loving yourself is very important. And I want to really reinforce that because the more you love yourself, the more you can give. The more you forgive yourself, the more you treat others differently. The more you're kind to yourself, the more you're kinder to other people. And so start with loving yourself. It could be treating yourself well, like drinking lots of water to hydrate your body. It could be reading to educate your brain and your mindset. It could be looking after what you eat, where you choose food that's nourishing for your body. Could be applying moisturizer for your skin to look after your skin. Anything that deepens the internal side of you can really help you relate to others even better. And so I want to invite you to have a relationship with yourself and love yourself more, because the more you can do that, the more you offer a different vibration and energetics to the world. And that is real. We can't see that, it's not tangible, but that energetics is vibrating. So we can feel that. And so that's something that it's within your power. Nobody can take that power away from you. And that's something that you can reinforce even more. So stop people pleasing, stop feeling not enough, stop fearing comments and criticism from others, stop judging yourself, stop asking for validation from someone else, stop a lot of things like playing small, and start to see what is the 1% change that you can do every single day for yourself and deepen that self-love. Because the more you do that, you watch how things transform in your life, in your business, in your relationship, in your health, in your spiritual walk. Everything will shift as well. So I know that that is true. And so I want to invite you to do it. If you have done it, keep doing it even more. If this is the first time you feel that you've been introduced to it, I want to invite you into this space. And so you are in good space.